I'm back. Yeah, but you knew I'd be back, didn't you? I'm eating a pear. A pear of what? Well, who knows? I got a cup of tea. It says here, life in the soil lane. There's a moral to that somewhere. Anyway, what have we got today? Oops. It's a Kemper. Now, I had a Kemper a while. I think since January 2012. Must be around there. Something like that. I was one of the early ones, you know. After I tried all the other crap. I got one of these. In any case, I like pears. It's totally gone mad. Probably. Anyway, I had one of these all that time ago. And I had the geek sandbag one. The one that looks like a mad scientist's cooker. Or something like that. Could have been a microwave. I had that a couple of years. And then I bought this one. Sold that one, bought this one. Didn't cost me much difference. So I thought, well, I'll get another warranty at least. But I bought this one as a B stock from Towman. You know them. Maybe you don't in the States, but it's a bit like Guitar Centre, but they've actually got gear. I shouldn't say that. Okay, the pear's gone. Now we're going to get down to this thing. I get like this sometimes. Funny, you know. But don't worry. That's what the internet's about, isn't it? Being funny. I don't know. Well, there's a lot of clowns on there. Yeah, so I bought this. And not just a few months after that, they bought one out with a power amp in it. Which I thought, great. I'll be able to upgrade this and, you know, really get it where I want it. Cranking out just by itself. Great fun. And then they said, no, we're not doing it. You'll have to buy a new one. Or a new one, as they say in English. I thought that was a bit mean, didn't you? Well, if you own one and you can't upgrade, you'd think it was mean too. It's a bit miserable. But I know why they can't do it. But, well, it's another story. Anyway, the truth is, oh, I've got a cup of tea too. The truth is, they didn't do it because of the all the tests that this thing has to go through. And once you start fitting bits inside, they've got to test it again. And it's not cheap. Let's be honest. So they didn't do it. So here I am to do it. Yeah, we're going to convert this into a 290 watt power amp with its preamp. Of course, there's a few problems on the way, but they're not that bad. So there it is. This looks a bit dangerous. Well, not really. Well, what have we got? We've got, believe it or not, the power amp. Yeah. And we've also got, in the other little box, all the bits and pieces that go with it. God, I wish I knew where they went. But unfortunately, I do know where they go. And pretty soon, you'll know where they go too. You'll be able to see how I do this one, how I void my warranty, as if I look bothered. I couldn't care less. Other than the odd lead, I don't think you see that much trouble with these, so nothing I'm going to do is going to bother it, as far as I'm concerned. Might be different for you. And I'll tell you what, if it's different for you, go and sell yours and then buy one for another, I don't know, it's equivalent to about 400 quid, I think, difference. Dearer. And this was about, I think 280 or something like that. Well, it's a lot cheaper. So, you skinflints like me, this is how you save the money. And you can trust me, there's no shortage of quality on that board. It's absolutely awesome. We'll be coming back to that. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and we're going to take the lid off and have a look at what we've really got to do. It's not as hard as you think. So before you start going, oh my God, I can't do that. Well, calm down. maybe you can. Well, in fact, you probably can. But if you've got no experience with mains or anything like that, well, obviously, don't do it. I'm not telling you to do it. What I'm telling you is if you haven't got the qualifications or you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. If you get the kill, then, well, I'll meet you at, oh no, I might not meet you. Yeah, you might go that way, I might go that way. Well, then again, I could go that way and you could go that. Or maybe we just go into the ether. Anyway, don't make much difference, but one way or another, it'll go dark. So don't do it if you can't. Yeah. Let's get the lid off now and have a look what we've got to do. It's not rocket science. Hold on, I knew there'd be something else. Let me get this. This is a kit that came from Ritter Amplification. There it is. Tillman Ritter. That's the man. Very helpful. He's in Germany too, so that helps too. Because you get the right bits. It's not so helpful if you're in the USA, but listen, he'll sell it to you in the USA. I know he will. You go and ask for Tillman and say, Tony sent you. And he'll say, oh, is he Tony? Yeah, or something like that, he'll say. Anyway, www.ritteramps.de. Ritter has got 2 T's. Yeah, 2 of them. Yeah, one after the other. Ritteramps.de. So that's where you go and find him. I've got all my costs and the rest here. I'm not going to tell you what it cost me, but it wasn't cheap. Please understand, I had to pay just like you. So it's probably a fair review. Hold on, let's get that lid off. At last. Now, among other things, just before we carry on, is you do need one of those little star type of screw undoers. We'll call it that. Yeah, just thought I'd say that. Before you go and get your regular screwdriver and you can't get in the thing. Tony tip number 1. Okay, well, here we are inside. Yeah, right. Well, what you've got is you've got all these vent holes, and you've got some holes already in there, which I suspect were for the Kemper power supply. Bearing in mind I've never seen a Kemper power supply, well, let's just have a good guess that it fits along there somewhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our board, oops, yeah, and we're also going to fit it along there somewhere, probably down there. I'll probably move this thing off, move these things out the way, put some new little clips on afterwards, and away you go. It's all going to be good. So the first thing we've got to do really is have a look at this back bit, because in the back bit, hold on, we've got all these wires and connectors and things to do. It should be fun. One just went that way. Right, let's move this back. Now then, we've got a number of bits here. Those look familiar. You'll have seen them before. Yeah? I'll go on the back. 2 of them. Piece of wire. Well, you would need that, wouldn't you? Let's move them out of the way. There. We've got, yeah, we've got a mains connector. Now, I could take these wires and, well, to be honest, connect them in there with a little connector. But I'm going to keep it separate. Because you can get one of those Y cables these days, and I think this is a better choice because this has got its little fuse. It's all kept nice and separate. Thanks very much. And overall, I think it's probably a better job. So that's what I'm going to fit. One of them in the back, down here. I'm going to grovel the back out. You need a couple of tools for that, but I'll show you. I'm also going to have a separate power supply. Sorry. Separate power switch, not power supply, power switch for the power supply, if you know what I mean. For the power amp. So that's a good idea. Just cut a little hole in there. That can go somewhere above there. Yeah, we'll find somewhere. Well, I've got 3 of them. Oh yeah, there is 3, sorry. There's a reason. And the reason is that the third one you can have as a bridged connector, so you can get the full power out of one output. Good idea. And you've got these two little tuppenny things for the input, which I thought was nice. And you can put them in there and we can just link two little wires across, which I think is the best way. Just keep everything nice and separate. You can integrate a load of stuff, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it all nice and simple. You need a bit of this stuff. We need some little screws to screw the bits on. Doesn't sound simple enough, doesn't it? Some more screws there. Oh, looking ferrules. Yeah, they should be nice. Come back to them too. So in my way of thinking, what we've got is we've got to have a few bits down here, power down here, and it's all going to be good. And it's all out of the way at that side, the other side of the power amp that we're going to put across, please. Yeah, that's probably the best way. It does fit this way as well, by the way, that way. But I don't think we're going to do that. I think we'll go crossways and run the wires off. So we've got a bit of work to do here. And what you're going to need is one of them Dremel tools, if you've heard of one of them. It's like a miniature hole digger, for want of a better word. Yeah, it's going to be a Dremel anyway, and maybe a couple of hole punches for some of them other bits. And when you've done that, away it goes. Bit of wiring, and you're in business. A few holes at the bottom to mount the board, but nothing dramatic, if you know what I mean. You just got to get it right. First things first. Feel a bit low down here. Yeah. All looks simple, doesn't it? You just blast a hole in there and just bang it in. Well, it is simple, except that you got to get the hole really pretty square and right, the same shape as what this is, which is not so easy to do. But I'll show you how to do it, and then I'll go and do mine, and then you'll be able to believe me that I did actually do it. You've got to decide where it's going, and I'm thinking, well, if we look at this, we've got the Kemper power there. Nice. Well, I think mine will be nice there. Just to the right hand side of the FCC and the CE approval and the ROSH compliance that's on this machine that isn't on all of the other stuff. But don't worry, that's where we're going to put this, and that's the first job, I would say. That in there. Yeah. So I'm going to show you how to mark it out and how to do it. Hold on. Now, I'm not sure if you can see that, but basically I start off with a piece of paper and I cut a hole in it like that. Okay? Simple. And the second thing I do is slide it over the connector, like so. And now I'm able to mark out the actual size of what's needed on there. It's that simple. I can do that. Well, as you can see, basically, I drew around it. Well, we pull that back off, like so. I mean, there's millions of other ways you could do this, but I like the easy way myself, don't you? There is what I need to cut out. Well, exciting. So now we're going to put that on there and cut it out. It should all be good. Okay, well, simple. Piece of tape. I just used this clear stuff, big chunk of it, and stuck the template on the back of the preamp. And we take the Dremel tool and we just cut that out. Then we've got a little hole each side, on that side, on this side, and we screw that in place. It's all going to be good. It's got to look good, don't forget. You don't want it angled like that, or somebody would think you were drunk when you were doing it. But like me, really. By the way, I've got something to show you. You know, I drop these little snippets in, don't I? Hold on. Yeah. I got a new cup. Yeah. I like, you know, I used to like Star Trek. And when they said, "Hey, Bones, come over here," I got his cup. What about that? Somebody's trying to get in here.
Sorry,
oh my God, it's the wife. Stop.
Did you have your
I think I'm going to have a drink later. Awesome. So let's get and drill this. Well, cut it out actually. I'll get the Dremel out, I'll show you that, and then you can see what's done. And don't forget, you've got to cover everything up inside and outside to stop the bits getting everywhere. You don't want to do that either, do you? Else it goes, psst. There's no warranty. So hold on. Now then, for all you guys who don't know what a Dremel is, well, some of you won't. They probably call it something else in the States, or maybe not, I don't know. Maybe it's American. But you get it in one of these boxes, and you flip it open, and you've got all the guts. It's one of these things. It's like a big fast drill. It goes up to some ridiculous speed. You plug it in the mains. Well, it's an English mains, but yours might be different. This goes to 33,000 revs a minute. And what you get is you get your little box of bits. But you also get this, on this one at least, this sort of extension tool. So you can put the Dremel down there somewhere and you can work nice and close with this. And that's why I bought this one. Awesome, yeah. So cutting that out is absolutely no problem, Tony says, but he's never done one before. No doubt we shall see. I'm going to go and cut it out now, and I'll see you in a moment. Hold on. Just before we do, I thought I'd show you the tool we use to hack it with. Well, my Dremel comes with a little cutting tool. It's great, designed for metal, indeed. It's got a girder on it. And it comes with a little holder, and you can mount it in there, in the front or in the other bit. And it's just going to go around and hack the general bit out, and then we're going to touch it up with a couple of bits I've got in here, and it will be nice and fit in beautifully, just like me. So here we go. So basically what you do is come around this and start grinding. And you do this until you're all the way through. So I'm going to go and do that now, and I'll be back. And there's a quick shot of the two pieces I cut out, and socket fitted. I've just got to drill the two holes. It all looks good. Yours should be the same. Well, no, that's how yours should work, except for one thing. It's straight and all the rest of it, but this piece of plastic that they stick on the back, it's a piece of cheap stuff. Basically, when you get it hot, it'll discolour a bit. So you see a little bit of discolouring. Makes no difference, just cosmetic, but there you go. If you want to do it so that you don't get that, don't use the Dremel, you just use a drill and drill it all out and then start filing. I just didn't want to be here all day, so that's good enough for me. Makes no difference to the playability or the use of or the rest of it. Let's just have a quick look inside, see how well it fitted inside as well. And just looking at it, you can see that it's not perfect, but it's very near. Plenty good enough for this. Screwed on with the proper screws and nuts and things, and it isn't going anywhere. Very nice. That'll do nicely for me, so we can move on to the next bit. One of the things I really did want to show you is that underneath this top plastic coat is another coat. And what you've got under there, if you look very carefully, you've got a section for speaker outs. All very nice. Already done for me really, I suppose. And I'm going to do my on and off switch there. Well, you can see I've just cut back a little bit. I'm going to do my outs across there. And then I'll probably do my ins either, I don't know, somewhere here or across here. Somewhere like that. We'll figure the ins and outs. Well, we'll figure the ins later. There are the outs. That's where they're all going to go. Already designed for you. Thank you, Mr. Kemper. Now, with a little bit of perseverance, you can clean all the crap off, and it ends up looking a bit like this stuff, a bit gungy. You see it? Well, it'll come off reasonably easy with things like thinners and that sort of stuff. You just make sure you don't get it everywhere. there you go. Now as you can see, I've carefully cut out a hole here, and that's for this. The power. On and off. For the power amp. And there it is fitted. Well, it's not perfect. Got the odd little scratch and a little bit of a tiny little bit sticking out the top there. It's not bad. So on and off, on and upwards. That's what we say. Okay, well as you can see, got the little switch in, got the mains in, connected these to the bottom too. And this one I'm probably going to run over and connect there. Put it around. There's a hole already there. I'll do that next. Now when it comes down to fitting the board, there are actually a couple of holes that we can utilise. There's one there, you can see that, and there's one there. Now you can actually drill the other holes and put them all in if you want. There's one down there which we don't use, but these were sort of stuck down, and this one was stuck on the side, so I pulled this one out of the way. I've just pulled this one up enough so we can sort of get it out of the way of being actually under the board. And if you do that, it's no real problem. It just gives you enough room to fit the power, well, the power amp. Now the thing is, you can go and drill these other holes if you want. For me, well, this just sits in the studio, so I only need really 2 holes. I guess you could do the rest. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But you could do it with just the 2 and use the other spacers, we'll call them that. And you could use these other spacers that you see. Just as spacers to hold it off the chassis. But for now, I'm going to carry on and fit these other I/O connectors, and then it's just a matter of wiring up. We're not getting that far away now. Just these holes at the top are a bit of a pain in the neck, but that's just life, and you know, we can actually do them reasonably quick if I can find the right tools. But we shall see. Okay, well, I'm in the throes of making the holes for these things now. So what I did is I made a template, because there's already a hole in the Kemper which I wanted to lose. So I made the template out of paper, and that's a file job, I'm afraid. And maybe I'll drill a few and then rip it out. This one here is a hole punch, and there's probably going to be another one somewhere here which will probably eat into that a little bit. That'll be the 3. Then we'll wonder about what we're going to do about the inputs. So I'll hack this one out, and probably hack that one out, and then you'll see it again in a moment. And there's a quick shot of the first one in place. You can see looks pretty cool. I'll get that around a bit. Maybe not. This hole's for the second one, and we'll have a third one probably somewhere there. I'll chew that a little bit, but wouldn't worry. Okay, there's a quick shot of the second one. Third one, it's probably going to go here somewhere. I'm not really sure yet. I might even put it down here. We'll take a look. Sort of down there a bit, maybe. We'll see. There's a quick shot of the third one in position. What I'm going to be doing next is to fit the left and rights roughly here and here, just above there. And I have a good reason for that. I'll tell you about that later. Okay, well, it's nearly time to fit the main power board. I ended up having to drill a hole there and drill a hole down there. So now we've got 4 in place. 4 will do. You can fit 5 if you want to be power drunk, but it makes no difference. So I'm going to fit the board now, and then we can get on to the one. I'm back. Well, we've got so far. Bit of a nightmare if you haven't got the tools. It's a bit of a nightmare if you have. I haven't really got all the tools, so I sort of had to make do a bit. But you can see the back of it now. I've got the stereo out. We'll have a closer loop. And I've got the joined together out. It's mono. I've got the power in. I've got my little on-off switch. This all seems to work. Well, it doesn't till I wire everything up. The wires are all dangling inside. But I thought we'd just come down and have a quick look at the back just before we carry on, because there's just a bit of wiring now, just a bit. And it's all going to be hunky-dory. In fact, it's more hunky-dory than the genuine one, because this one's, first of all, in stereo out, power, or it can be single out, mono, which is double the power. Yeah, I like the stereo out. Maybe there's a stereo out, who knows? I wouldn't buy one. I couldn't buy one. Let's go and have a closer look at the back, the bodge. You can call it that if you want, but it'll work just as well as yours and be cheaper and stronger and better, so we'll see. Let's go down and have a quick ganders, and then we'll carry on with the wiring. I reckon there's only half an hour and we're running. Well, here we are. I've got my power in. I've got my on-off switch. Oops. Oh, very nice. That seems to work. I've got my left and right speaker out. I've just put an L and an R up there. And I've got the bridged out, which is double the output power. I think this particular amp is 290 watts per side. So it's going to be near enough 580 watts out of this one. Should all be nice. And I fitted these two, this type of connector, because you never know what you're going to be doing with it, do you? Looks like to me that on the Kemper amp, they just have one output, one regular like this, which I thought was mean. But there you go. The other thing I did is I fitted two inputs. I fitted a left and a right input, which is a bit weird because we've got the left and the right output there. These are input. I could have put them somewhere else, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. So I can take my wire out of there, and have a little loop into there, and out of there, and have a little loop into there. There's a good reason for doing that. One of the primary reasons is if I want to use this power amp for something else, I might have some other piece of equipment that works in stereo that's a preamp, I can feed it in to here, irrespective of this thing. This can go wherever it likes, but I can feed that in as an independent input. Now I could have just wired up at the back, the other side of this, and not had those two. But I think it's better having them where I can put separate inputs, so I can drive the power amp without actually using the Kemper. And there's more. You'll notice we've got two power in. Well, you can actually get a lead that's like a Y lead. It's got a mains lead on one end and then it V's off into two of these. And I thought that was a better idea than trying to pinch voltages out of the the Kemper power supply and all that sort of rubbish. I don't want to mess around with that too much. I could have grabbed the mains internally, but it makes no difference, and it makes this better because it's all isolated, like I said. I can run this completely independent, so it made sense to me. Anyway, let's go back up top. So here I am back again. I never seem to go anywhere, do I? Notice I've changed the cover. White doesn't work well when you're drilling, and I think you need to tell your missus, or whoever's in charge of the house, or you can get in trouble. Oh, I burned a hole in there at some stage. Oh, don't worry, that's what you use them for, just this. Okay, so we can very nicely whiz across and wire these up. Oh, I've got one more thing I'll show. Well, I'll show you when I do it. These connectors are really mounting on printed circuit boards, but there's a little trick that Tillman told me. It's all good. So what we'll do is get wired. Sounds good, doesn't it? And go from there. Yeah, what do you think? Yeah, hold on. Episode 2. Yeah, but not many people have done this on the internet. I don't think anybody's done it. Okay, well, as you can see, what I did, I'd fitted the board with the screws. I used 4 screws, not 5, because the 5th one's a bit awkward. Doesn't really matter. I run the mains off the board, round the back, round here, I connected it up to my little on and off switch there. The voltage coming in comes from the mains and goes on the bottom. You can see that. I also ran a wire, if you can see this one, the ground there comes off there, runs around, and I put it on this little hole here. You can see it. You look careful. Let's put that out of the way. Okay, it's just there. That needs to go to a suitable ground, and I thought that one was suitable. So there you go. Well, now hopefully you can see what's going on. We've got the output side, this one and this one. Oops, you can see them. We'll just hang one up there for now, because that's where they got to go. And we've got the input side, which is this small array of wires here, and those are going to end up just on there, one way or another, just on there. So, just a nice place to put them, wasn't it? So when we've done that, basically that's it. Oh, I had one screw hole that was there from the factory. I don't really know what that does, but what I'm going to do is fit a little black screw so you can't tell it's there. Hey, what do you think of the quality of the work? I don't know if you can see that. It looks pretty cool. Yeah, not bad considering it was a nightmare. Now, as you can see, these are meant to be soldered onto a PCB. Tillman tells me. So he's got a little modification so we can solder those on pretty easily. And I'm all for soldering things on pretty easily. So what we're going to do is we're going to solder those in place with his little mod right now. You'll see how it's done. You use these like little cups that you put on there and then you fill the whole thing full of solder. And it's all good. So that's the next job. So I'm going to realign the camera, cable it in. You'll see how it goes. It's all pretty straightforward. And then we'll move on to the inputs. Just in case you get yourself in a tiz-was, you can see this one does actually say on the board right out. And the one just there says left out. So that's going to be right. That's going to be left. Okay, well you can see the right hand output. And you can see the little tiny connectors that are there. That's how they come as standard. And there is this little tiny, let me put it on the end of my finger. You can see that. It's rather tiny. But you can put that over the end of this, like so. And you can solder to it, so to speak, with your wire. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to wire this one and wire this one. I'll show you the wiring afterwards. I'm going to wire these 6 and show you after what the result is and where you wire it to. All very easy. Hold on. Okay, well, all very straightforward. Got the right to the right channel. Whoops, right channel. Come out to these 2. The black comes off and goes to the one on the bridged, and on this one the red comes off and goes to the one on the bridge. Pretty straightforward. So these are left channel, those are right channel. I've just got to heat seal these, but that's how they go. How boring is that? It's about 5 minutes job. Now next coming up, all we got to do is we got to wire these in, however, around this section here, which I'm going to show you how to do next. And then, believe it or not, it's finished. Hardest work was drilling the holes. Okay, well, that's the input wired up. You can see you've got the sort of grounds going along there, calling that. 1 feet, 2 feet. There you go. That's it. How boring's that? Well, you can see the colours. We've got a black, a red and a yellow. We've got a brown to here, an orange to there. And that's it. All that's left for me to do now is to heat seal these. Remember, don't forget to heat seal them, especially on the outputs, or you're going to have some trouble. And then I'll show you that, and then we'll go back up the top again. Hold on. Okay, well that's it, completed. From the shot you can see we've got the mains in. Comes into the switch. Switch goes out, down to the board, over there. Power outs are here, 1, 2, plus the bridged. And the inputs are here. Really very simple. Board's really well mounted, can't move it. And that's it. Plenty of ventilation underneath, plenty of ventilation for the rest. You can put a fan if you won't be power drunk. But I don't think I'll bother. I'm going to put the lid back on. See you in the top. Oh, I'm back. You knew I would be. Oh, unprofessional to put it there. Some idiot said. You meet them, don't you? Well, there we are. Powered. Yeah, it's like having a V8 under you. So you got your left and your right. I thought I'd go left and right because that makes sense, doesn't it? You don't even have to put a sticker on if you don't want. But you could do. My little on and off. Oh, even my connections look genuine. I like the way that he had the all the information underneath for the speakers. It's quite funny, really, in its own little way. What more can I say about that? You have to watch when you're doing this. If you get this stuff too hot, there's plastic on the back. It does change colour and go rather shiny where you've done it. Not that it really matters, because it's in the back of a rack anyway, but it does go a little bit shiny rather than this sort of matte finish that they have if you overdo it on the power. You know, if you overdo it and cook a few things like I did. By cooking a few things, I mean the plastic, of course. I've still got my FCC and CE and all the rest on it. Not that it makes much difference because it's already in the UK now. And these look nice. Now I could have put these inside and had just a little round bit sticking out, but I just thought it'd look nicer like that. More chunky. A bit like me, really. Now, the truth is, there's not much left to do. I mean, yeah, I can take it outside and plug her in, so to speak. But you've got to talk about where it comes from, haven't you? Where you get the bits from. Otherwise, it's a bit of a problem. You'll be able to watch this and wonder where I get any upgrades from. Well, it comes from Ritter Amplification. And I bought this one on the 9th of January, believe it or not. It's taken a while to get it to here. Oh, nearly a month. But don't worry about that. That was partially my fault. Yeah, it says it's called a Amplifier, that's what they call it. But this is a rack one. I didn't know they did rack ones. I know they do the other one that you can bolt on the back of your geek's handbag type of thing. But I didn't know they did one for this. Maybe they didn't. Maybe I'm the first. Who knows? Doesn't really matter. What can I say? www.ritteramps.de. His name Tillman Ritter. Yeah. Oh, he would be. That's his name. So there you have it. All rock and rolls. Just looking what else is on here. Yeah. It's all done. Simple, it says here. Simple on the invoice. It's only simple till you've got to cut them holes out. That's a bit less simple. Actually, I wanted one of those you know, them hole cutters that you just tighten up with a bolt. Could I find one? No. I had to do it the hard way with a thing you crank it out with and then get the file out. Don't worry. It still does a good job. Turn it round in case somebody hasn't seen one. The thing about it is, needless to say, it looks the same as it did when I bought it in here. Except now it can talk for itself. I think that's a bit of an improvement, especially bearing in mind that it was the only route if you've got one of these Kemper rack units that isn't powered. It's a bit of a pain. Or the alternative is, I guess, if you wanted to start lugging other amps and things like that, or big fat speakers as some people talk about, and you know, with amps in them and all that stuff. Well, that's all well and good, but this is easier if you get the drift. Lastly, I'm not going to go out there and play it right now, but I'm waiting for the pedal to arrive, you know, the remote pedal, which I'm going to do a review on. And so what I'll do is, when I get the remote pedal, I'll take this and the remote pedal, plug them together and play some. That could be a great idea. But in the meantime, well, don't look for the playing on the end of this. I mean, it's all over the internet anyway, but just take my word for it, it works. It just does. Yeah. Anyway, you'll be able to hear it when I get the remote that was promised, and I was one of them early birds. Yeah, didn't make any difference. Same money, same weight, same everything. So, I don't know who come up with the early bird idea, but yeah. If he was in Texas, they'd shoot him. Okay, that's it for now. Don't forget to go to www.TonyMckenzie.com, where there will be a written review one of these days. Like a lot of the other stuff I've got to catch up. I'll need to take a month off. And youtube.com/TonyMckenzie.com. If you're watching this already, you might know it, but you might not have been to the channel. More than 130 videos on there, give or take. And a lot of them are like this, you know, looking inside and doing that sort of stuff. But there's loads of musical stuff as well, of course. Loads of reviews and all that other stuff. So until next time, stand up, Tony. Oh, it's been a long day. Rock and roll.